What's up, Swamp? He is risen. That's pretty funny. Good morning, Voltaire. Good to see you, friend. Command bar. I'm working on a Mars rover. What does that even mean? You're working on a Mars rover? How do you build a Mars rover? Is Destroy changed my name as a joke on another stream? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Hello, Destroy. Good to see you. It's been a minute, actually. I don't think I've seen you around for a little bit. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, I need to check Discord. Cool. Okay. We got the notifications. We got the chat. We got the terminals. We got the everythings. It's like a robot that can drive on Mars. I'm sorry, Command Bar. I just don't honestly believe you're actually building a robot that drives on Mars. I'm sorry, man. I'm totally encouraging you in your side projects, and I think it's wonderful to have aspirations and dreams and stuff. But like, it seems a little. It's a okay. That's okay. That's a mock-up. Okay. All right. That's a. I'm gonna say it seems a little delulu to think that you're actually building something that could drive on Mars, but that's fair. That's fair. A mock-up is fair. It's just the way you said it. It sounded like you actually believed you were doing that. I laughed my ass off, bro's actually a NASA engineer, and you're like, sure, bro, me too. Yeah. Yeah, it turns out Command Bar is secretly Mark Rober. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, I want people to have really cool side projects. I just don't also want to feel like I'm just pandering, I don't want people to think that I'm just pandering to them. In Twitch, close enough. Yeah, you're the first one on Twitch, which is, I mean, hey, man, someone's got to be the first one in each platform, so. No, that's what AI is for. Man, you guys are on one today. AI does do a pretty good job of pandering. Faux show. Yeah, the whole AI thing is just wholly out of control, and I'm not sure what to do to get away from it. Like I don't, you can't hide from AI or people that want to talk about AI. It's everywhere. M is for Microsoft. Oh man, I get everyone's point. You guys know my thoughts about Microsoft. There are things that Microsoft has done poorly, and there are things that Microsoft has done very well. Like, for example, I wouldn't be able to use NeoVim without the language server protocol. That is a Microsoft invention. Um, but at the same time, Microsoft put Copilot in Notepad. So I see where y'all are coming from. I understand. A is for AI slop. Yeah. Did you see the 11K Accenture layoff? No, I did not. Mohammed, good to see you. What are we building? We are building a personal finance app, Mohammed. So I have this dream of having kind of a single pane of glass to log into, and I can see all my account balances over time, as well as all the transaction data for those accounts. And so I am trying to make that a reality. I kind of think like what Mint.com is or Credit Karma is, or, well, Mint.com no longer is operational. That's what I used for the longest time. But think something like that. I did not see the 11K Accenture layoff. What is that about? What reason did they give for that? Oh, chat went away. They gave AI as the reason. Good morning, Oblivion. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Accenture layoffs. Accenture lays off 1,100 employees, makes AI adoption mandatory. Okay, that sounds like our worst nightmare. um, is there any? See, this is Yahoo Finance. There's a lot of Indian news outlets reporting it. Yahoo Finance reported it. Looks like Yahoo Finance is the only like bigger name. And this is back in October 16th, 2025. Right? That's like 5 months ago. Is there something more recent than that? I think that might be. It almost looks like this India.com article just recently posted about it. Huh. It's weird. Are they reporting on the same thing? Oh my god, look at all these ads. Get out of my face. Yeah, this seems like the same thing Yahoo Finance reported on. So this has already happened. And here's another article that says Accenture reduced headcount by nearly 22,000 in 2025 through a mix of voluntary exits and targeted layoffs. Huh. The Bridge Chronicle. Accenture reportedly tells senior staff their promotions will depend on AI usage, following similar moves by Microsoft, Google, Meta as the industry pivots. Like this is a huge thing that people are not talking about. When you see a bunch of individuals online promoting their use of AI, like there's a lot of people whose like their career advancements are dependent on them being pro AI right now. And not because AI is really the thing of the future, but because their companies are heavily, heavily financially invested in it. Hmm. Accenture's plan to monitor AI at work. Accenture will reportedly track employees' use of its AI tools, including logins to the AI refinery platform. CEO Julie Sweet says the platform helps companies reimagine operations. God, that sounds like a dystopian 1984 nightmare. Have you been talking to your LLM regularly? Did you get your 100,000 tokens in this week? Fuck you. That's why we all need fuck you money. So that when conversations like that happen, we can be like, you know what? Fuck this. Good morning, Earn190. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you. Yo, what's the browser that you use? I use Edge. Yeah, everybody gives me shit for using Edge, but that's the browser I prefer is Edge, which is basically Microsoft's Google or Microsoft's Chrome, which is fine with me. Even my keyboard is going to use AI. Holy smokes, what was that website? I don't know. Some random, the Chronicle and the Indian Times or something. That is a masterclass on UI, UX. Hell yeah, it is. It really was. It really was. I do not use the Comet browser. For the longest time, I used the Zen browser. And I really liked the Zen browser's aesthetics, but they fucked up the window management, so I went back to Edge. Question: do they read the questions we ask the LLMs? Can we just ask it about what coffee we should try each day? Yeah. You just have some automated script that like, if it was me, you just have some automated script that like makes Claude interview Gemini all day. If everyone has fuck you money, no one has fuck you money. Still, I wouldn't mind some. Okay, so okay, how about this? I don't care about everybody having it. I just care about that some of us have it, and I'm one of those someone's. 7 Edom. Is there an advantage of using an off-brand browser? Isn't it all the same? So I think there's only a couple browser engines now, right? Voltaire, thank
Cheer
you very much.
100.
Thank you very much for the cheer, man. I don't. So I think some people say like the Brave browser is more privacy minded. I think the Zen browser had some goals it was trying to achieve. So it seems like some browsers do offer like a different set of features. But I don't know if there's really a compelling reason necessarily to use, I guess what you're saying is an off brand. I wouldn't even term them as off brand though myself. Uh, I like the reason I switched to Edge was like 4 years ago now at work, we were talking about making sure that we were doing regular cross browser testing. And so we just basically across our team decided like, okay, you're going to use X browser, you're going to use Y browser, you're going to use Z browser. And I decided I was going to use Edge. And then my use of Edge kind of bled outside of work to everything because I discovered Edge has kind of first class support for vertical tabs, and I really like the vertical tabs. Um, and so I just stayed here, and that's where I'm at now. Might need a new name for it. uh, to the FU fund. Yeah, thank you very much, Voltaire. Yeah, please donate to the FU fund. I would appreciate it. Mohammed, as AI is tracking all cognitive jobs, we should focus on doing trading, building trading algo, and let money come to you. Dude, if I could build an algorithm that beat the market, I would not be sitting here streaming probably. Let's see, but there are some coming up. I'm keeping my eyes on Ladybird. Yeah, Ladybird is a cool project for sure. I've listened to several interviews with the guy who's building it. I think his name's Andreas Kling, something like that. So this will be cool to see it come to fruition. I mean, it's definitely a long road. Swap. I use Internet Explorer. No. You don't. You do not use Internet Explorer. That sounds like a nightmare. All right. So where we left off yesterday, 30-day stream streak. Nice, dude. Congrats, man. Thanks for being around so often. I really appreciate that. I can't imagine anybody showing up to something I'm doing for 30 days. So thank you for being here, man. I appreciate that. Mohammed, so shouldn't we take CSE degree in college? I think you should pursue whatever degree you want to in college. You should just be mindful of like how your degree choice actually translates into employment and pay. That's always something to keep in mind. I think a lot of it depends too on like how you're funding college. Is college paid for, or is college something you're financing? If college is something you're financing, then you probably really want to pay attention to what's going to be your return on the money that you're spending on your degree. Now, if your mom and dad, if you're lucky enough to have a mom and dad who can just outright pay for your college tuition, or maybe you somehow got like a crazy full ride scholarship or something, then it really doesn't matter. Like, study the shit you want to study. Swamp, how's it looking for us without a degree? I think fine. I think fine. I mean, there seems to be lots of trades both in knowledge work and outside of knowledge work that you can do with a degree and earn a good living. At least here in the United States, obviously, I can't speak. I don't have any experience outside the U.S., but it seems like it's still a viable path not to go to college. It seems like it's probably you should more consider that path these days than default always. Because when I was growing up, it was kind of a default thing, like everyone's going to go to college. But I think nowadays maybe that's less of a default choice. I know for my kids, I've told my sons already, and I'll continue to tell them this, that I don't think they should
become best friends.
Degen Duff, Thank you for the follow. I've told my kids that I don't think they should go to college if they're going to finance it. If somebody else is picking up that bill, they shouldn't go to school. They should work and save their money and then go pay for school. But that's just one guy in Kansas's opinion. Mohammed, did you make the physical OS? That's what we're trying. That's what we're trying to do. And when I say OS, it's not OS in like the real sense of an operating system. It's operating system in the sense of like this is the dashboard where I'm going to try to manage my financial life. So don't think I'm doing any kind of low level programming. Good morning, Omanian. Steven, what do you think about pirating? You mean like people who rip off music or like rip CDs and stuff, that sort of thing? Yeah, system of operations. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Yeah, it's more like a life OS. Yeah, maybe I should have. I should have really named it something different, and maybe I will rename it. But I forgot. I forgot that given my audience or given my normal content topic, like operating system is very misleading. Yeah, exactly. OS with an asterisk. Let's see. I think 2 years at community college doing night classes while working full time and living at home is what I should have done and would encourage my kids to do. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily want them to have to be stressed while they go to college, right? That sounds like what you described sounds like a lot. Um, oh no, you're saying you would live at home and work full time. Yeah, that. So I think what I would tell my kids is I would say you're welcome to live at home while you work and save for college. Um, and like I would even let them live at home while they're going to school. I just don't want them taking out loans while they are like I just don't think they should trade 4 years of their life for 10 years, right? Like the borrower is slave to the lender. That's something I really believe because I've experienced it wholeheartedly. I just paid off my. I officially owe nothing to no one as of 2025. I don't own any. I don't owe any money on my car. I don't own a house. I don't owe any mortgage debt. I don't owe anybody credit card debt. I don't owe anyone student loans. So I would just encourage my kids to not fall prey to living a life that's built on top of leverage. Command bar operating Steven. That probably would have been a fairly good name. Doesn't really roll off the tongue quite well, but not a bad name. Lurk away, D. Lurk away. Alright. We were trying to get tests working. End-to-end tests. And I think I have one working. Let's see. Let's do await page. I don't feel like OmniSharp is attached yet. There we go. Dot. There we go. Let's see. We want to find. Let's try to find the button. Get by text. Log in. Dot. We'll do expect to be visible. See if this one works. So I think this is gonna work. Hold on. Physical S. Let's see. Test. By the way, I'm getting a PC. Nice. A PC. Getting a PC. A PC. Getting a PC. Nice. I like it. Trying out Ubuntu. Been good so far. Love it. Love it. I'm a fan of Ubuntu, but people make fun of me for using Ubuntu. It's the only desktop environment I've ever tried on Linux. Swamp, nah, I'd pay for it. Community college is relatively cheap. 2 years after high school for a better education and the option to go back for only 1 to 2 years to get a bachelor's if they so choose. Yeah, the problem with community college, so I had a lot of friends who actually, where I grew up, we had this thing called, and that it may be more of a nationwide program, but we had this thing called the A plus program, and so basically it was this. I don't exactly remember how it worked, but I think basically you did so many hours of tutoring, or you achieved you achieved like certain marks, and then you got scholarships or funding to go to a particular set of community colleges, and get some of your tuition paid for. And I had a lot of friends in high school that took advantage of this. But the problem that I saw them run into was they would go to the community college for 2 years, and then they would want to go to a 4 year university to finish. And whenever they would go to transfer credits from the JUCO to the university or the 4 year college, they would have all kinds of issues with getting credits to transfer. And then they'd be left in this nightmare of having to retake classes. So I don't know if I'm a big believer myself in community college because I just watch too many people get burned by that and have to double spend on stuff. I think if it was me, I think I don't, and I also don't particularly think that an associate's degree is really worth the paper it's printed on in a lot of ways. So I would, if it was me, I'm like I have seen very many job requirements that list an associate's degree as a minimum requirement. It almost always is either no degree or a bachelor's. So I don't know. I think I would. I think my kids. I'll personally encourage them. Like if you're gonna go to school, go to school, do the thing, get a bachelor's, do the 4 years. Um, Otherwise, just find some work. It has an AMD CPU, RX 7600, and 16 gigs of DDR4. Nice, dude. Sounds like a good PC. Sounds like you'll be able to put some work in on it. That's such a scam. The community college I went to is a satellite school of a major college, same curriculum. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing specifics and circumstances matter. No, the associates isn't the point. The general education and the credits being indefinitely valid is. Then they can choose to specialize if they want on their own dime. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I hope my kids don't need to go to college to get more general education. Like after 18 years of school, I hope they've had enough general education. Uh, but I feel you. I mean, to each his own. All right. So this apparently works, but I don't know why this is not opening in headless. So we're gonna have to do some reading. Let's see, headless. Or headed, I guess is what they call it. Running headed. Playwright runs browsers in headless mode by default. To change the behavior, you use headless false. You can also use the slow-mo option.
Best friends?
Van, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate that. Okay, so I already set that, though. That's the thing I don't understand. I already set this. Playwright fixture. Chromium launch async. I wonder if it's because I'm not actually using that browser instance. Let's see. Let's go back to. I bet it's because I'm not using that fixture at all. So if I do, what about public override? does it work? Alright, we're going to dig around in some source code for a second. Let's see, GitHub, Playwright.net. Okay, so there's the browser context. Context options. Let's go to the browser test. Let's see, browser test, XUnit v3. So there's the public one. So I basically need to just browser new context options equals null. See, .NET Playwright run test in headed mode. The thing is, I don't really want to have to, excuse my ignorance, but I don't understand the point of using Linux or why there are so many different versions of it. I don't know why there's so many different versions of it myself. If I had to guess, just people have different opinions on how they think stuff should work. And I'm not really sure if there's like a very strong case for why you should use it other than preference. It's probably particularly better suited for some things than others, but those aren't, I don't have any good explanations myself. See, I was very lucky to have gone to private school all the way up to
become best friends?
Lay lo ho no lo papu. Thank you for the sub. That's quite the username, my good sir. I was very lucky to have gone to private school all the way to graduation. It's not a certainty, but I found teachers loving to teach to be more common in them. I wish everyone had access to more enthusiastic teachers. Yeah, teachers can make or break things, man. They really can. Just like coaches can make or break sports. Just now joined. What are we building today? We are building a personal finance app. We're slowly working on it. Excuse me. I really don't want to have to implement my own. Let's see. Let's go here. And let's get our good friend Copilot to help us. And we'll use Sonnet. We'll say I'm working with Playwright in .NET. I'd really like to avoid implementing my own page test class, but I need to, or I want to launch the browser in headed mode. Is there a built-in way to do this without taking over control of the context, browser, and page management myself. Reference the Playwright repository in your context to ground your answers. Hey, what's up, Azray? Good to see you. Swamp a monolith. What are you calling a monolith? My application? My application's not a monolith, but let's see, using run settings file. Let's see, evidence from the repository demonstrates both approaches working with page tests across all testing frameworks. The implementation shows that page test inherits from context tests. Automatically reads these configurations when creating the browser instance. Okay. So, what about run settings for XUnit v3? Can I use the XUnit run settings.json file? Let's use .run settings. Let's see. Based on the search, XUnit v3 does not support for Playwright configuration. Looking at the test files for XUnit v3 in the repository, all tests consistently use .run settings. Okay. So let's try this. Oh no, what happened to my... Did I just blow away my conversation? Oh, there we go. Oh, I should have run .NET test. Passed in that flag. Zero tests ran. Okay, what's wrong here? Specifies a test config.json. Oh, this is because I'm using the new Microsoft testing platform. Microsoft testing platform run settings. The model does not use .run settings files, but instead it uses a more modern configuration system based on the command line arguments. However, compatibility layer is available via the VS Test Bridge extension to support existing test frameworks that still rely on .NET Run settings. Okay, when running tests from the command line, you use the settings option to point to your configuration file. Okay, migration guide. How do we do a migration? Steven is my spirit animal. I don't know if I should be anybody's spirit animal. Good morning, Gun Highs. Good to see you. Let's see. How do we... what do they call it? Test config. Let's see. Microsoft testing platform test config run settings. Settings migrator? What? Where's this at? Let's see, config. Using test config is only supported in running tests, and any other, including using our first party, does not support test config, and you should rely on XUnit's configuration file. Alright, I guess we're just going to write the code. Yeah, we're just going to write the code. Because I don't really want to add that stupid bridge thing. I guess let's test it just to see if it works. Probably be good to know that it exists. So that didn't work. Alright, we're giving up on that. .NET, remove. We're not going to spend any more time on that. Let's see, remove the package. Remove the run settings file. We're just going to create our own, I guess, series of tests here. So let's do, base test. And then this is getting kind of lengthy, but let's do async lifetime. Let's implement that real quick. I wonder how does he get access to the expect insertion? Let's see. We got iDisposable, and then Weather Hub. Oh, he doesn't use their assertions, because I think if I don't inherit from the page test, see, this is the thing. If I don't inherit from page test, I don't think I can have access to expect, and that's too bad. There's gotta be a better way to do this. There's gotta be a better way. What if I implement all right, so if I inherit from context, oh, this is the wrong. I want XUnit v3. So let's look at browser test. What does browser test do? And then what does playwright test do? Browser type, playwright, gets the browser name. So where does the browser get long? That's the part I can't seem to figure out. Where does the browser get playwright? Where did we create the, oh, is this it? Playwright task, playwright create async, worker aware test. See, I don't want to assume responsibility for all of this. This is the problem. I just want this to work. You know what I mean? And so if I try to take control of this, then I lose a bunch of functionality. And I don't want to give it up. So there's got to be a way that I can public override, initialize async. So I wonder if I could, see, context test calls the base, then we set the page here. That says that calls context new page. So I'm wondering if we can just let's see. Can I go back to that conversation with Copilot? I should have left that up. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Okay, I hate dealing with the run settings file. I need to do this in code. How can I control the browser launch options without losing a bunch of the functionality provided by the base playwright test classes? Caleb, how was Plaid integration? Have been rough with Vue last time? No, it's not actually been too bad. It's been pretty straightforward. I haven't gotten to the point where I have to deal with all the different types of accounts and stuff. That's probably going to be the tricky part, is just working through all the different edge cases that are there. Let's see, you can help configure the Playwright test framework for .NET allows you to provide browser type launch options and browser new context option properties in your test class. Here is the... Ah, okay. Yes, this is what I was looking for. So we can do browser type launch options. See, I knew there had to be a way. Yeah, the Plaid integration hasn't been too bad though. Let's see, browser. What was that method called? Context options. No, I'm already doing that. Browser type. Override browser context options. Is this a real thing? Did it hallucinate this? I think it might have hallucinated this. Return new headless equals false. Let's see. Return type must be browser new context options to match overridden member context. So this is not a real thing.
Did we just become best friends?
DMAC, thank you for subbing. Appreciate that. Let's see. Return new browser. Let's see. Headless. Alright, why is this complaining? Okay, so there does not seem to be a way to do this. Copilot seems to be lying to me. Browser type launch. Let's see. Maybe it's because it's referencing the wrong. Let's see. I am using XUnit v3. I don't see an override for the, what is it? Browser type launch options on the page test. Kurt's locked in. I'm trying to figure this out because I want to move on, but I want end-to-end tests. LOL. Okay. So you're saying just take ownership of it all. Yeah, but then I lose. Okay. You're absolutely right. XUnit doesn't use the same override pattern. For XUnit, you need to use a different approach. Well, that sucks. That really sucks, man. Let's see. Yeah, but then you lose access to all of the expect on the underlying base playwright implementations. This frustrates me. I don't understand what it changed here. Initialize playwright assertions. You're a big fat liar. You're a big fat liar. Okay. Well, so be it. I think I'm going to try to override. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's try to override some shit. Async lifetime. Oh, because the underlying thing already implements this. Okay, so let's do this. We'll do public override, and we want to do value task. Yep, and then public. Let's actually make it protected override. Public. Okay. What are you complaining about? Change the call GC suppress. This will print. Okay. Can I set page here? That's the question I need to ask. So if I have browser, let's see, context dot new page async. Will it let me set that? So it is read only, so it cannot be set. Bastards, man, bastards. Delusional. Any reason why you went with Plaid instead of something like MX? I'm not aware of MX, delusional dev. What is that? MX. Let's see, MX financial data. I don't think I've ever heard of that. MX helps companies do more with financial data. Turn data into growth. Huh. I haven't heard of this guy. These guys. I just chose Plaid because that was the one that I knew worked with all my accounts out of the box. Developer documentation. API versioning. Let's see, list accounts, list members. Huh. Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of these guys. Yeah, so I guess the only reason I didn't go with MX, or the reason I didn't go with MX is because I didn't know they existed. Bro, I'm so bummed right now. I guess let's just follow. I guess let's just follow Fritz's approach and do what he did, and we'll just slowly hack it together. Absolutely hate that. Absolutely hate it. Bothers me so much. so much. Huh. Wonder where my conversation with Playwright went just a moment ago. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna steal this code. I'm just gonna copy and paste this code. Let's see. Okay, where does that come from? Assertion space. That must be something from their internal library. Assertion space. It's an abstract class. Yeah, it's an internal. It's an internal thing. Okay, maybe that's not the right path. Makes sense. I also wanted to build something like this and came across them while researching options. It seems like Plaid's the gold standard, anyways. Yeah, it just seems like Plaid has the most. What do you call it? What am I trying to say? Has the most support for institutions. Okay, so you're never null because what we're going to do is in here, we are going to say page equals await playwright fixture dot not initialize. Browser, that's what we want. We wanted the browser. So we're gonna say playwright fixture dot browser dot create dot new context async this. So we also need to hold on to let's see, protected, same kind of deal, but this needs to be browser. Or no, this needs to be a context. browser context. That. And so then we will do, whoops. This is also, I can just run this in a headless mode. Just so I can see the test actually working. So we'll say await, playwright fixture dot browser dot new context async. Make method async. And then we'll say page equals context dot new page async. And then this is where we're going to get the base URL, right? Or no, that's not where we do that. We do that here in the context is where we do that. So we say new and then we say base URL equals, what was it? Aspire, I think it was aspire fixture dot get I forget what it is. Not initialize async. What was it, chat? I can't remember. Oh, that get base web URI. Get base web URI. To string. There it was. Okay, so we've got context, we've got our page, and then we'll have to hold on to these. So at the end of it, we'll say await page dot close async, and then we'll say await browser or no context dot close async, await page dot dispose, does it not have that? So we just do await context dot that. Let's see. Change base to supposed to call GC suppress. This will okay. GC dot suppress finalize. This. All right. So now let's go back to our base test and see if that still works. So it doesn't have the expect anymore. So how do I get a hold of this? I guess we have to implement that ourselves. So how do we... Voltaire, it's all Greek to me, sorry. What are you talking about? Good morning, Stiggy Man. I think OOP is not for me. I've tried so many times. First started with docs, then videos, free code camp, basic tutorials, but I cannot wrap my mind around internal, sealed, abstract, protected. Well, I think internal, sealed, abstract, and protected really have nothing to do with object-oriented programming. Those are just keywords, right, that provide different functionality particularly in C# code at least. I'm assuming some other programming languages have similar keywords, but they really don't have that much to do necessarily with object-oriented programming. As far as like what they do, right? Internal in C# just means anything within the same assembly or package. Sealed just means you can't inherit from it. Abstract means you can't new up a concrete instance of it. Protected means that only derived classes and the base class itself can access the thing that you marked as protected. But I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of keywords there, a lot of accessibility modifiers. Good morning, Walsey. Good to see you. Helping remember the right function / method to call. Oh yeah, sorry. That's my bad, Voltaire. I was lost just as much as you are. Brandon, is this Java? No, this is C#. We're looking at C#. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure this comes from the default Playwright. See, Playwright test. Here we go. So I guess let's just slap these on our base test. Yeah. That way we have access to them. They're just wrappers. That's fine. You can use block body. Why are you upset with this? Member expected. Oh, that's fine. Oh, no, it's not fine. Is it fine? Okay. So now, theoretically, what should happen is now when we run this, it should hopefully run in headed mode. Let's try. I was trying to avoid a lot. I spent about 45 minutes trying to avoid some work that I should have just not tried to avoid. Classic. Good to see you, Rookley. How are you doing? Bob, no, why do Java devs wear glasses? Because they don't C#. Good one. Good one, Bob. Also, good morning. Manish, this is C sharp? It is C sharp. You are 100% correct. I forgot I need to add more context to my messages. It's odd at times with trying to be timely. Yeah, having a conversation through chat, there's a delay, there's a lot going on. I don't always follow all the threads. There we go. See if it actually loads my... I think it loaded it. Let's throw a little pause in there. Let's see, await page dot wait for timeout async. And let's just wait for 5 seconds. I just want to see the page, man. That's all I want to do. I just want to see the page. Gemini told me that joke. Nice, Gemini, funny guy. This guy's a funny guy. I would use Texas to beach, but my points have run low. Oh, no worries, man. You got to stock them points back up. There we go. It's working. It's working. Cool. So we've added support for writing end-to-end tests. That was really the big thing I wanted to get away with here. So we have our Aspire fixture. We have our Playwright fixture. I don't really know if this is the best architecture quite yet. Let's just do login when navigated to displays login button. Cool. I think that's one of the coolest things about, I think that might be the coolest thing so far about using Aspire. So basically we can model our distributed application over here. The app host can take care of setting everything up for us, and then in our test project we can actually run tests against the actual spun up thing using Playwright. That might be the best end-to-end test setup I've ever seen so far. Because if you were going to do this without using Aspire, you would have to have some sort of Docker compose file, and then through your test code, you would have to like make a call out to Docker on the host to spin up all those containers and all your distributed systems, then run your end-to-end tests against that, and then some sort of Docker compose command to like shut it all down. So this is a really, really nice experience. I could see using this to even test things that weren't necessarily .NET related. I think I might make a video about this. Let's see. So AE. Hey, what's up, Uncle Pee-wee? The mic sounds kind of crisp. Like too loud. Do you want me to turn it down? The mic sound bad. Sometimes I don't do a good job monitoring my mic. Why don't you buy a new mic? Because new mics are expensive, and I don't really want to spend money on a hobby that I don't really make money off of. Brandon, if you don't mind me asking, where did you learn how to do this? Like this stack to be able to do this? Was it university or Udemy? Just a lot of learning over the last 5 years. I didn't go to school for computer science or programming or software engineering. I went to school for biochemistry. That's actually my degree up there. But I went to Went to school for biochemistry, got into technology really late, and I've just kind of been doing a lot of building and a lot of learning for the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, no, it's just kind of a cobbled together from YouTube and courses on Pluralsight and courses on YouTube and Free Code Camp and just all over the place. Uncle Peter, your gain is a little high today. Okay, let me turn it down. Let me see. There we go. Is that any better? Is that still pretty high? Okay. Let me know if it's, is it that any better? Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 560, 80, 560, 80. Sounds pretty good? Okay. Let me check my volume over here too. Stephen is a biochemist, which means he knows how to break the Geneva Convention. Oh man, if you stuck me on a bench today, I wouldn't know what to do, man. I'd be lost. Yeah, I'd have to be starting all over again, unfortunately. All right. I think I fixed the audio. I think I fixed it. But if it starts to sound bad again, just let me know. I'm never opposed to tinkering with my settings. Docker, I barely knew her. Good one. I have a headache, so it might be a me thing. No, it's not a you thing. I think you're right. I think it was peaking. Because I can kind of see the audio levels. I think too, like sometimes I'm too close to my mic. I don't think that helps either. I'll try to keep an eye on it though. The last thing I want to do is give you guys headaches. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that sounds okay right now, so I'm going to keep talking like this to monitor my level. All right. Testing 1,
Kelsey
2, 3.
says, "Do better, bro."
Good morning, honey. Good morning. It's been a little bit of a chaotic stream this morning. Let's see. Make a video about using Aspire plus Playwright.
Kelsey says, "JK, I love your voice."
Thanks, honey. At least someone does. At least someone doesn't find my voice annoying. For kick-ass end-to-end testing. All right, let's go ahead and commit this stuff. Test. Hey, Suas, good to see you. If you scream, the mic sounds crisp. Well, I don't want to, I don't, so to me, crisp is good, But I think what you're saying, Imanian, is that crisp is bad. So I think I'm going to try to avoid screaming then. Do you think having a CS degree is necessary, or is it better to skip the debt and learn what's needed to do the job? I don't want to waste money on a CS degree, but also don't want to be excluded. So I don't necessarily think computer science degrees are necessary if you want to work in technology. I mean, I think a lot of people besides me have proven that. I think college degrees do help open doors that are much harder to open otherwise. I don't think if it was me, I would go into debt. I think I talked about earlier today. I wouldn't go into debt to get a college degree at this point if it was me. And that's what I would tell my sons. Like if you were one of my sons, if Brandon was actually my 25-year-old kid or my 18-year-old kid, I would tell him don't take out loans to go to school. If you want to get a degree because you think that's what you need to do or that's what you want to do, I would say, well, spend the next couple of years working a lot and saving a lot of money. If you need to come live at home to do that, come live at home. I know not everybody has that type of support. And then after you save the money you need for school, go back to school, and get the degree. But I definitely don't think you need a degree, Now I'm really self-conscious about the mic. What do you think about getting work international market from India? I don't feel like I'm very
Kelsey
well.
says, I think it sounds fine, love.
Okay, thanks, honey, for reassuring me. I keep thinking maybe I'm blowing people's eardrums out. I don't think I don't think I'm the best to give that advice, Suhas, honestly, just because I've never had to do that. You know, um, I don't know what I would do in that situation because I don't even know all the hurdles you have to jump over and navigate to do it. The mic sounds good. Thanks, Brandon. Thank you guys for helping me sort out my technical difficulties. It's very kind of you. Oh, Suas, only Kelsey has the text-to-speech command, by the way. She's special. She's the only one I trust to have unfettered access to text-to-speech. uh, I don't have a degree, and I'm making just shy of 6 figures. Yeah, and I think, and so that's why Ryan's example there is kind of why I said I don't really think necessarily you need a degree in today's day and age. And I think I would also pause before I took out loans to get a degree because I do think it's possible to eventually earn a good wage, right, without a degree in today's world. I also think degrees are becoming less and less of a. I think as people like my age or my wife's age, like I'm 32, she's 34. I think as people our age are like getting into actual positions of like hiring and decision making about these types of things, I don't think we place as much weight on a degree as maybe past generations have. So I think that's another thing to stop and think about. Skill-based economy. Yeah, I think that would be the best place for us to end up is in some sort of skill-based economy for sure. Whether or not we ever make it there, But yeah, and I think that's why I think that's why I love software engineering or the technology space in general is because it's like a tangible set of skills that you can demonstrate to another human being of like, this is the thing I can do. Like, I know how to do these things, right? And in a lot of other like knowledge work, it's a little less. The skills are a little softer. Like, there's not like as hard of a skill set. But yeah, that would be ideal. Only those who defected to Twitch may also speak. Join us. Yes, there is text to speech with channel points on Twitch.
I'd like to say something.
Only those who defected to Twitch may also speak. Join us.
Let's see. Add accounts to front end. I'm running out of good branch names. I think I have multiple add account. Let's see. Add support for adding accounts. Add login to front end. Add front end. These are bad. These are very bad branch names. Let's see. Get checkout. Be Stephen Freeborn. Feature. Add accounts to front end. I forgot to press the button first. Oh, that's funny. What you working on? We're trying to work on building a personal finance app. We spent way too much of the morning trying to avoid having to. We basically spent way too much of the morning trying to figure out an easy way to do something that ends up there wasn't an easy way to do it. So then we just did it the hard way. So we wasted a bunch of time today. But what we're building is we're building a personal finance app that's supposed to just kind of serve as like a single pane of glass to see all my financial information. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. So where do we start here? So we need to figure out what we want the UI to look like. So let's go ahead and do aspire run. That's not a bad joke. That's a pretty good joke. Feet pics now? Yeah, that's a pretty good joke. That looks like a nightmare, but also the kind of thing I do. Yeah, I'm there, man. I'm there. I'm in the nightmare. Steven, I was helping my mom and feel so bored because of my ADHD. I feel bad for people living on their 1 or 2 hose work. I don't know what you were saying there, Suasp. I did read your message, but I don't know what you're saying. Swamp rocket surgery is more of a on-the-job trial by fire kind of gig. Let's see. Hey, just so we have a better idea of the final product, can you go ahead and flash all your personal financial information on the screen? Yeah. Yes. At some point, we're going to get to the development process where I actually want to test this with my information, and that will not be happening on stream. But lucky for us, Plaid gives us a sandbox environment.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. Ooh. Did you like my song? I practiced it in the cloud for 7 hours. Please rate my performance on a scale of 1 to 10.
Let's see, 1 to 10. Give it like a 6.34576432291. We believe in high precision numbers here. Let's see. How do people map with ADHD do like chores? I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I think what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to have an add account button. And I think that add account button is going to display a form. And I think each account will be like a collapsible tree. So what I'm imagining is we end up with something like this, where we have bank account. This will be like the top level, and then each account is going to be nested under them like this. And then whenever we want to add a new account, we're going to insert like a form here at the very top. And that's where they'll select the account they want to add, and then they'll save it. So let's see if we can't implement some of the UI before the end of the stream. We have about an hour. So let's go here. Stephen, what is a really good UI library, or should I just learn HTML, CSS connected with Python? UI library for like the web? Is that what you're asking? So my favorite right now is Vue. I really like to use Vue when I'm building front ends for the web myself. But that doesn't mean it's the best. It definitely isn't the best. I think React is fine. It seems like Svelte. A lot of people say Svelte's fine. Solid.js is fine. There's no shortage of options today. Not for the web, just random shit I want to do or applications I want to make. Well, I think it's very dependent. Like, what's a good UI library is very dependent on how you're going to build it, you know? So if you're going to use web technologies, the library you use is going to be different than if you're building something in Rust for a desktop app. Stephen, was it you who said not to learn Angular before Vanilla.js? I don't think I ever said that because I don't talk very much about Angular. But if it was me, I wouldn't learn Angular before Vanilla.js. I would probably focus on learning Vanilla.js first. I mean, I learned Vanilla.js before I learned React or any other front-end framework myself, and I think that makes the most sense. Me no like dynamic type. Yeah, I prefer my static types. Good morning, Bradley. Good to see you, sir. How are things down under? Hopefully well. Is there a way you can see console logs in? Guess not. Okay, the handler's wired up, so let's see. I'm working in Vue. I have an idea for some UI. I'd like to display a form beneath a card component when a button is clicked. However, I don't want to render the form multiple times for every card it might appear beneath. I'm working in Vue and I'm not sure how I'd accomplish this. Let's see, in Vanilla.js, I just attach and remove the form based on the clicking to the DOM. So basically what I'm trying to get at is I don't want to render a form under each card and then conditionally show and hide it based on which account has clicked the add account button. I just want one form, but I want to move it around in the DOM. Let's see, in the most Vue way to handle this without polluting every card with a hidden form is use teleport. This allows you to define the form once in your parent component, but visually and structurally move it to a specific target within each card when needed. This is the modern solution. Teleport. I've never heard of this. This is completely new to me. Let's see. Teleport is a built-in component. This is new. I'm learning something new. I love this. This is the best part of coding. Teleport is a built-in component that allows us to teleport a part of a component's template into a DOM node that exists outside the DOM hierarchy of that component. Yeah, okay. So the most common example of this is when building a full-screen modal. Okay. Teleport to body. The toTarget of teleport expects a CSS selector string or an actual DOM node. Here we essentially are telling Vue to teleport this template fragment to the body tag. You can click the button below and inspect the body tag via your browser's tool. Let's see, using components. Teleport only alters the rendered DOM structure. It does not affect the logical hierarchy of the components. That is to say, if teleport contains a component, that component will remain a logical child of the parent component containing the teleport. Props passing and event emitting will continue to work the same way. Multiple teleports on the same target. Huh. In Vue 3.5 above, we can use the defer prop to defer the target resolving of a teleport until other parts of the application have mounted. This allows the teleport to target a container element that is rendered by Vue, but in a later part of the component tree. Interesting. Very, very interesting. To active target. So active target equals ref null. Strategy to the singleton slot pattern. If you prefer not to use teleport, you can use a conditional render that relies on the index of the card. This ensures the form is...
Kelsey says I haven't unlocked this level of nerd. I don't know these words.
This is a level of nerd that few ever achieve. Reading Vue documentation. Let's see. Minimal state resets on move, medium. Maintains input focus and state. Minimal moves existing node. The singleton slot's kind of interesting. If you prefer, keep the form code in the parent. Pass a v-if check to the card to see if I am the chosen one. Use a named slot inside the card to determine where the form should land. Let's see. Show me an example of the singleton slot pattern. Let's see, Brandon. I think projects plus passing the technical will help, but the issue is always say 2 or more years of experience is needed. Yeah, I don't know where people get the idea that we need so much experience to do jobs where you're just going to learn how to do the job anyways when you're doing the job. But yeah, it's mostly coming from a Python background, so something that uses Python really helps. I'm not much of a Python person at all, Suas, so I don't really have much. I've heard the only UI library I've ever used in Python is called Tinker or something like that. Let's see, what do they look for when hiring? Commit history, repos, or on-site work experience. If you don't have experience, but they say you need experience, but you need the job to get it, then what? Yeah, it's kind of a circle jerk at that point, Brandon. And I think what people are looking for changes at like the context of the interview is different based on the company you're hiring into and the people conducting the hiring process. I think it varies very widely. Steven the Coffee Goblin has an entire Discord server to help you do that. Steven the Coffee Goblin. Let's see, it's not really nerd stuff until he's figuring out how to write a sorting algorithm. Hopefully I never have to do that. Hopefully I can just call dot sort. Let's see the card component. The card doesn't know what the form does. It only provides a hole where a form could go. Okay. The parent component. The parent holds the single instance of the form data and decides which card gets to display it. Interesting. I think I kind of like that. Right? Key benefits of this approach: single source of truth. Your form logic and data stay in the parent, making it easier to send a single API request regardless of which card triggered it. Because of the if inside the card or the conditional slot logic view automatically unmounts the form from the previous card when you switch to a new one. Okay, I kind of like that approach. So we need to extract the cards. Okay, I kind of like that approach. So ideally then, below every card, or within every card, we want it below it or within it? I think we want it below it. Yeah, so we'd have something like this where we say div, and then we're going to say form shows up here. And then let's add a new piece of state. Let's say const institution. Let's say target institution of add. And we'll just give it a string. Be empty. And then we'll say, let's see, v if. Let's see, v if what? If target equals institution dot ID. And then this will have to do something like this, institution dot ID. I think the actual issue for me is it doesn't hold the attention of the ADHD goblin in my brain. Yeah, you got to find stuff that you're interested in, right? That's super important. Okay, let's see if this works the way I want it to. Also, why is that not persisting? Okay, so if I do add account, yep. And if I do add account here, add account there, yeah. But I want this to show up below. So we're going to have to change the hierarchy a little bit. So this will be, we actually need like a container. we actually need this to go here. TS. Brandon, what? Vue did that so easily, no state management at all. Yeah, Vue makes it very nice to work. I mean, you do have a piece of state you're managing, but Vue makes it pretty convenient to work with. I mean, that's the benefit of using React and Vue and all these libraries is like not having to manage state in the DOM is just it's just a wonderful experience. Nobody wants to manage state in the DOM. Yeah, there we go. So we want this. And so then the idea will be we'll display a list of accounts that people can select from here in the form. So let's see if we can get that rendering out. I guess let's try to do const available accounts, and let's just add a ref about names like this. But it should be that. And then let's go down here to where we have our add account stuff. And let's just put a select in here. Hey, what's up, Riz? How are you? Good morning, Justin. Steven, have you mocked this up? No, I haven't mocked this up. I very rarely mock anything up. I usually just try to struggle through it. Good morning, Justin. Good to see you, though. How has my favorite YouTuber been? Well, that's really nice of you to say, Riz. I don't know if I should be anybody's favorite, though. Nothing terribly exciting over here. Am I crazy? There is a select component in HTML, right? I'm not making that up. Yeah, okay. I'm not making that up. So let's do V, what is it, V4 option. So we'll do V4 equals accounts or account in available accounts, and I'll do V bind key. And for now, we'll just say account. Well, actually, we can do account ID. We can create a type here. So let's do type equals account equals let's do ID as a string, name as a string like this. Then we'll do account as a list of accounts. Which means then down here, we can do account and available accounts. And then here we can do value equals account ID. But the display will do account dot name. So right now, if we go back to our view app and we click this, there should be nothing here. That's fine. We should be able to get, though, the list of accounts. We already have an API for doing that. So let's go ahead and get that. And let's do, what do we want to do here? Const account result equals await institution service dot get available. That, and we'll have to pass in the institution ID. We don't have a method for this yet, so let's add one. This will be a result of accounts. Whoops, account. See you, Official King World. Have a good sleep, man. Appreciate you hanging out. Let's see, Justin. I have some opinions on the value of AI actually being developing the skill to plan and orchestrate a high-level workflow required as opposed to the code AIs generate. I could see that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are trying to make the case for that. So it sounds like a cool thing for some people to do. It doesn't really interest me as a profession, but it sounds like some people might make a career out of doing that. Select and the child of it is option. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you. You're better than Google, man. Steven, how do you be so humble? Is it just an act, or are you actually this humble in real life? I think I'm pretty humble. I mean, I'll let my wife probably speak, but I feel like I'm a pretty humble person. I mean, my parents kind of beat that into me growing up. That was a big part of my child rearing. I love how far tech has come over the last 20 seconds. I remember when I was first learning to code, splitting a 50,000 character string into an array would take almost half a second, if not longer. I don't think I've ever had a need to do that, but that's pretty crazy. Now it takes less than a millisecond. Yeah, wild. Justin, I'll let my wife speak for that. That's real as fuck. Yeah, she may not still be here in chat. She might be listening to her book while she's making the kids lunch, but yeah, I don't think if you want to be a humble person, you probably aren't the right person to ask if you're humble or not, right? You probably let other people decide that. Oh, a lot of yawning today from me. Sorry about that. Ryan, 20 years, not seconds. Let's see. I've come over the last 20 years. Almost half a second, if not longer. Yeah, I just haven't ever had the need to split that many characters, and I'm also kind of spoiled because I never wrote code when like I started learning to code in 2020, right? So like a lot of the pain points that a lot of people have with development, I just don't really have because I've been spoiled since I've been in programming, you know? So that's why I always try to have, excuse me, I always try to have empathy um, for folks, you know, because I realize that they probably have some experiences that I just they probably have some scars that I don't have, you know. Let's see. We want to do exactly this. Cannot stop yawning. Oh no, that was probably me, Ryan. I probably just misread it. That's my fault. Okay, and this should be available. Oh no, I have to pass in the ID. Okay. But the response is accounts. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the web project. Back here. And so available actually needs to take an ID. And it needs to do this. Let's see, why are you complaining? Property assignment expected. This can be a string, that's fine. There we go. I do this. Let's see. Nope. I'll say available equals institution. What? Why isn't that assignable to it? What are you saying to me? Property get available in counts and type institution service is not assignable to the same property. Type institution ID string. Oh, it's because I don't have the parameter in the interface signature. Institution ID string. Now everybody's happy. Okay, so then once we get the account results, let's do a quick check to see if accounts result.error. If there is an error, let's just alert right now and return. So I'll say failed to retrieve accounts to add or something. Just return. Otherwise, we will do available counts dot value equals what? Accounts result dot value. Yeah. Okay. And if I did it right, hopefully this will work. Okay, there's a little bit of a lag there for sure. I didn't like that. It just kind of hung. Okay, that doesn't work because it doesn't work because I didn't type the account responses correctly. This should be provider ID, provider name. Yeah, so let's do provider, export type, available, count is going to be provider ID, provider name. This is going to be available. Let's come back into the home view. And instead of using the type that we defined up here, let's import the type from the service. Okay, and then we can do provider ID, provider ID, provider name. There we go. Okay. There's something funky going on with the sidebar though. Sometimes it doesn't seem to hold its state across re-renders. Something funky going on there. Okay, add account. There we go. Cool. The only thing is, though, it's probably hard for people to distinguish for even me, like what account is what account. Because you could have like multiple checking accounts, right, or multiple savings accounts, and that's not super helpful. So we probably need to keep some sort of like, I think the Plaid API returns like a masked account number somewhere. I think most APIs do provide some sort of mask like this. And we should probably display that next to the name of the account. which is going to require us to update our backend and everything because we're not storing that in the database. But this works. The only thing I don't like about this approach is I don't like that there's a delay. Like this user experience is kind of shitty. Like you click the button and there's like this pause between the form displaying and the... So we need to figure out some better way to like indicate that we're fetching the accounts. So that's something we need to fix. But theoretically, this works. We also are doing a weird thing where like we're rendering the form for every single institution, which I don't like. So we should probably fix that too. What about a small description underneath account name or tooltip? Yeah, something. Well, right now, none of this data is user inputted data. All this data is fetched from the Plaid API. Like it's all data that's coming from the financial service provider or the financial data provider. So I think eventually I'll allow the user to like add their own name or edit the name of their accounts in the institution. But for now, when they're first setting things up, they need some way to know, right, that they're connecting the right account. And I think the closest thing we're going to be able to do is give them the type of account or the name of the account, and then the last 4 digits of the account. I think that's the best we can do for helping them pick which account they want to connect. Sorry, I fell way behind on chat. I was locked in there for a second. And I'm also out of coffee. Let's see, Caleb. I feel like I haven't done anything in programming space as I should be, having 2 to 3 years of experience. I think you should I don't think you should compare yourself to other people, Caleb. I think that way lies madness. I wouldn't compare yourself to other people. Installing Arch is not that hard. I don't know why people say it's hard. I've never done it before, so I don't actually know. Let's see. Programming is mostly talent, and it makes you incompetent if you don't have that, or at least if you don't have fun doing it. I don't think programming is mostly talent. I think most of the people who are really good at programming would tell you they have just suffered a lot. I don't think programming's talent. I think there is some people who are just very talented, but I don't think it's mostly talent. Is you build projects that interest you, Caleb, and you'll naturally learn in the process? Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree with Brandon's advice. Let's see, I am building projects. What do you recommend? I'm focused on web right now. I don't have any recommendations for projects beyond solve problems that you understand or that you have yourself. I think the best like even the creator of Unix talks about that. He talks about how like Unix wasn't meant for other people. It was for him. It was to solve his problems. And you hear a lot of people who have made really important pieces of software or really big contributions to things. Most of the times they were just trying to solve their own issue, right? Ruby on Rails is another great example of that, right? Like these are issues that some individual had, and they cared deeply about it and understood the problem really well, and they were motivated to solve it because it directly impacted them. And it just so happens that human beings aren't all that unique, so if you have that problem, a lot of other people have that problem too. I'm pretty sure every programmer I know, except very few exceptions, loves coffee, dark mode, and has imposter syndrome or god complex. Yeah, I don't want to have a god complex. I do like coffee, and I do like dark mode. Dark mode everything. And occasionally I have imposter syndrome. But then I remember everyone's just making it up as they go along, and then my imposter syndrome fades away. Let's see, what about having an application side user inputted value? Then you can display it as the main title and the actual institution has the subtitle. We could, yeah, I think we will eventually have different titles for both the accounts and the institutions that are both like we're going to have the original value that we got, and then we're also going to have a user inputted one. But the stuff I'm showing on the screen right now is all the provider provided data. Programming is an acquired taste. Yeah, but so is everything in life, right? Like I don't necessarily want to spend my days building decks, but my brother-in-law loves it. So like most jobs and pastimes are acquired tastes, right? Nice, Caleb. That sounds like a fun project. Got some Redis in there. I like it. Who likes light mode? I don't know. Psychopaths. People say I have a messiah complex, but I forgive them. That's a dad joke right there. Would you ever consider doing chat portfolio reviews when you're free? I would be more than happy to look at your projects. I just don't do that kind of stuff on stream because then every stream just becomes an infinite session of me reviewing people's stuff. And then I feel bad because I don't get to someone's thing, but I got to someone else's thing. But if you want me to take a look at any of your projects, I'm always happy to. You can join the Discord and post it in the projects channel. See, mic, sound, can't hear, or is it just me? It might be just you, Kurtz. Let's see, requesting the data every time you open the sidebar is incredibly inefficient and can end up racking up the API request bill. Yes, that's a great point. So I probably need to think about that. Because right now, every time you do this, it does make a request to get those accounts. So that there probably should be some caching in there. That's a great idea, Ryan. I'm gonna make a little note about that. Get available. Yeah, endpoint. Let's see. This is unlikely to change. Actually, Ryan, now that you say that, it's funny you say that. Basically, the result of this call will never change unless this access token changes. So that's actually a really good call out. Let's see. We only really need to fetch a fresh list of accounts. It actually begs the question of it almost begs the question of like,
did we just become best friends?
Sang, I think is how you say your name. Sang Win. Good to see you. Thanks for the sub. We only need to fetch a fresh list of accounts when the access token gets updated. Yeah, access token changes. What to do? I mean, we could cache it, but it almost seems like caching is kind of unnecessary because we're gonna know, like if a user updates this access token, we're gonna know that they're updating it. Hmm. Oh no, I have to think on that one. Yeah, I have to think on that one. But it's a good call out because I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay to retrieve the same data a bunch of times. If it never changes, only request on startup and new account add, save it to the database, pull it from there. Exactly. That's my other thought. But then there's this problem of like, yeah, I have to think through that. How I want to handle that. I'm not sure how I want to handle it. But it's definitely, if you hadn't said that, I probably wouldn't have thought about that until after I'd already racked up a bill for a bunch of unnecessary requests. Ingot, bro, what is your major job? If you just type exclamation point LinkedIn or exclamation point LI in the chat, you can go to my LinkedIn profile and look at my professional history. But right now, I work as a quality engineer for a software company. Kurtz, do you have global CSS? I do have some global CSS, but a lot of it will live in the components. It'll just be scoped to the component. Do you think it is really cringy and nearby to make an AI inspired by a dystopia and put yourself in the center of it and make yourself the god of that universe? That sounds very dystopian. I wouldn't want to be the god of any universe. Being in charge of 2 human beings and being responsible for 3 human beings is more than enough. I don't know why anybody would want to be responsible for the world. Yeah, the Discord's at that link that Duckboy said in the chat. Also, good to see you, Duckboy. I think I missed you entering the stream, which I apologize. Good to see you, though. Let's see. Honestly, a lot of the requests can be stored as static data that's only updated on startup or manual refresh in case someone is waiting for a transaction to hit their account. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the data will be like the transactions. We'll just sync them when they change and store them in the database. We won't fetch the transactions from the API. The only thing we'll fetch from the API is we'll fetch the institution to get the access token. We'll fetch the list of available accounts, and then we'll just have a webhook that listens for when new transactions occur. And whenever we get that webhook, we'll reach out and we'll get the updated transactions. And we'll also keep track of the account balance at that point too. So there won't really be a lot of requests to the Plaid API, maybe a couple requests every day, depending on how often they trigger the transactions updates. So there shouldn't be a ton of requests. I'm not using the Plaid API as like my data source. I have a database that I'm sticking data into. I'm not talking about taking over the world, but creating a fictional world where the AI believes it lives in inspired by Warhammer 40,000. Interesting. Sounds interesting. That's all I have to say. All right. I don't think I'm gonna code anymore because I'm out of coffee, but the stream is like about to end. So I don't also want to like walk away. Or actually, I think I am. I think I'm just gonna end the stream early and go get more coffee. So you could also build in a CRUD system that only requests new data at specific intervals, say midnight and noon. Yeah, but I'd like to use the actual webhook. Yeah, I'd like to just use the webhook. No coffee, no code, all chat. Yeah, exactly. If there's no coffee, there's no stream. All chat? No. All chat? No one wants to listen to me talk for 2.5 hours about nothing. Well, this was fun. Ryan Fair, I'm cheap. I do everything I can to lower my costs. Yeah, no, that's totally valid. Your approach is totally fine, but I would like kind of almost I would like the data in here to be as real time as it can get, and that webhook approach is the approach that Plaid recommends. Did you ever get that downstairs espresso machine? No, I have not gotten that downstairs espresso machine. I have a long list of very expensive things I'd like to buy and no money to buy them with. I need to get a second job to support my habit. Brandon, I think they're realizing that AI isn't as good as they thought. I don't know, man. The AI hype train seems to still be going super, super strong. Somebody here, I need help. Gonna go to a date. Got a horrific haircut. Oh man, you're fucked. I don't know, man. Wear a hat. Is that pod desk from Grandma's Boy on that list? No. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not a streamer. Sounds too stressful. Oh, it's not stressful at all. I don't do a very good job of it. Kimmy 2.5 is really good. Did you know how they made it? The internal architecture is so fucking cool. I do not know. I know about Kimmy. I know about Kimmy K2, but I don't know anything about the architecture or how they made it. I feel like those in the know that have known it's not that good. It's all the big biz and marketers hyping it up. Dude, but that hype train is so loud and it is so strong and it seems like it's not slowing down for anyone. But I agree with Justin. I think if you've and that's how you can that's how you know. I think that's the biggest telltale sign of people that haven't worked with AI a lot, either in their own workflows or to build features, is because they don't speak about both the good and the bad of using AI. Because if you've used these tools or these technologies for long enough, you know that there is good and there is also bad. Just look at how many times Prime leaks his keys. I'd be constantly worried about that. Yeah, I'm constantly worried about it too. Yeah, it's a beast of its own. Yep, 100%. It is annoying. You have to, and that's why, like, a lot of the good AI experiences that you have out there are because a lot of smart engineers did a really good job putting constraints around the system. Don't even fucking think of looking at my ENV files. Don't you do it. Kimmy K2, don't you look at my ENV. Don't you dare look at it. All right, chat. Well, the coffee is calling my name. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know I'm not very productive, but had a good time. What are you eating? An orange? I eat an orange or two usually at the beginning of the stream, and then I usually eat half of it and forget about the other half until the end of the stream. All right, I'm out of here. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out, the best place to find us is we're live from about 4:15 to about 7, give or take, each morning. So feel free to come hang out. I'll put the schedule in the chat there for you. And if you want to interact outside the stream, you can go to the Discord. Discord is in the chat as well. It's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Makes it super easy. So yeah, feel free to stop by and join in. If you're mean, we'll probably reject you, but if you're kind and nice, we'll let you hang out. Keep it cool with AI. No fucks yous from me. It might push my E&B to production. That would be bad. See you, Bob. Yeah, man. If you're up early again tomorrow, would love to see you. But no worries. I understand it's super, super early. See you, Ryan. Bye, Justin. Bye, Suhas. Bye, Bob. Bye, Duck Boy. Somebody here for you. Good luck with your date and your terrible haircut. See you, Brandon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye, guys. All right. See you tomorrow morning. Bye. See you guys.